Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to Union Cross and a collaboration with The Incredibles 2. Kind of amazing what's happening right now. There's content after content, but there's also banners after banners. At least with this one, we're going to banner with a guaranteed pull. And not even that, it's The Incredibles. This is actually kind of exciting. A little bit weird that Toy Story didn't get a high score challenge, but this is getting a high score challenge. Either way, I want to talk about all these medals individually and where it's going to help you guys. So tonight, for global, we're going to get all this. Right now in JP, you guys are all doing this already. So the first thing is Incredibles 2 collaboration event with boosters. So all these medals are going to get a booster on them for the, I guess maybe for the entire month until the end of the month. That's usually how they do their boosters. There's going to be a high score challenge to get Bob and Jack medals, which I'm definitely going to go for because again, this medal is just like Leon and Cloud and also the Sora and Simba medal, but upright magic. So it's going to have a huge hit on it with the proper traits even more. And of course, the banner down here, which I can't put the mouse over because it brings that up, you're guaranteed 2 Incredible 2 medals every pull, 3 magic mirrors per pull, and in 5 pulls, you get yourself Mr. Incredible as a 7-star. So I'm going to talk about all these medals individually for PvE, for PvP, for whatever your count is. Hopefully I give you guys an idea if you should go for this or not. But the main thing here is first draw is free. Your first time you pull on this is free, and I'm happy about that, especially because you can get 2 of these medals, and there is 2 medals in here that are going to change a lot of people's gameplay. So we're going to go look at these medals individually, starting with Mr. Incredible. They're all prime medals, and 3 of them are tier 4s, 1 of them is tier 5, and 1 of them is tier 8. So there's a total of 5 of them. 1 high score challenge, 4 to draw, obviously. So let's talk about its damage. So the first thing right away, besides everything else, I want to talk about all these medals damage, starting with tier 4s. So we're going to look at the best damage as tier 4s and where do these medals sit. So for the 3 medals, we got Dash, we got Violet, and Mrs. Incredible. They're all sitting at a very low multiplier, so they're definitely not our heavy single target / random hitters. But if we sort this to AoE, because they're all AoE, they're actually sitting on top. They're almost on par with Buzz and Woody. 21.71 for AoE damage for these 3 medals up here. Then you got Young Xehanort, who has a 22.59, and then you got these medals. So AoE wise, we know how much damage these guys do. These are going to do about the same amount of damage, if not, no, the same amount of damage. I'm not going to say better because these guys have a little bit more on them. So being prime medals, they most likely have 5 trait slots. So if you do pull multiple copies and you get the proper traits, these can turn out to be very incredible. And if you don't get the proper traits, they're still very good AoE medals. I've proven that on my free-to-play count, having just like a Key Art 17, no traits, being copied by a Xion or a Riku replica. You get a lot of damage out of there, but there's also utility. So not the best single target / random medals, but AoE wise, we're getting some decent stuff here. So that is for the tier 4s. And now for Mr. Incredible as a tier 5, he is pretty much sitting on top. AoE wise, again, 24.70. He's not the single target master like Lingering Will or the new Roxas, but AoE wise, 24.70. We got 23.85 for AoE off Roxas here. So he is the best AoE medal in tier 5. And even when we add tier 6s, he is still sitting on top. Like right there, 24.70. Only a couple of medals get a little bit higher than he does, but they have conditions and so on. Or some of them don't have conditions, but he's sitting at 24.70. That is great AoE damage, like amazing AoE damage. So damage wise, these guys are really good. And of course, if you look at the tier 8, like I told you, Bob and Jack, where are we? Where are we? Tier 8s, please take away AoE and just show me your top medals. Here we go. Bob and Jack is at 53.66, along with Sora and Simba, and if there's in the JP version, Cloud and Leon. So they are our top attackers. So again, high score challenge, gonna be high competition. Top 1,000 gets a boosted one. Don't forget that. Don't fuse your 2 after you get a certain score. So they're worth it. They're worth it damage-wise with the current content we've gotten. I don't know about the content going forward because our tier 4s were helping us. Woody, Prime Buzz, Prime Key Art 17, all that were doing great AoE damage for us, and these guys do about the same. But going forward, now that we're going to have tier 5 prime metals, I don't know where they're going to stand, but I don't think they're going to fall behind that much. Especially Mr. Incredible, he's got good AoE damage. So, back to the tier 4s and 5s of these new metals. Let me actually just clear all that up and not do that at all. And just go to new. Actually, yeah, we can keep it up there. That's fine. And we'll put it to tier 4. So, looking at these metals, again, I want to go over them starting with Mr. Incredible. So Mr. Incredible is actually a tier 5. So Mr. Incredible, he's got enemy counter plus 3. So these medals would have been amazing because they all have this. These would have been amazing during Psyx. But if you pull for these medals and you make them your main damage dealers and you go do quests from this point forward, or even if you don't have all of them and you copy a couple of them, enemies' blue counters and red counters no longer matter because they're never going to affect them and they're just going to increase them. So you don't need any of those medals we had in the past. You don't need your own Warrior of Light. Even though those medals are stronger, AoE wise, not affecting the enemy's counters. So during Psyx quests, you would use these medals to kill off the ads and then use heavy hitters to attack Psyx himself. So this would have been amazing before, but looking forward, we no longer have to worry about the enemy's counters, which is great. Roxas always also does the same thing. He raises counters, so I kind of want to go back and forth because Roxas is still a very good banner, but we are going to get a couple of these, especially for the high score challenge. Damage-wise, again, 24 per 70. There's not much more to say about Mr. Incredible, just that he ignores enemy counters, which is amazing, and he's the best AoE one. So for him, if you get him, you're not going wrong. You're going to have one of the best AoE damage medals out there for low tier, below level tier 7s, tier 8. So he's not a bad medal at all. Not that much utility, but with that damage and that countdown plus 3, it's great. As for the next 3 medals, we're looking at, let's start off with Mrs. Incredible. So Mrs. Incredible, I want to point out something right away, guys. This lasts 1 turn. So if you're looking at PvP and you're thinking this is my next new turtle setup, I'm going to put defense boost 5 on this and I'm going to go into PvP with it, or even attack boost on it for that AoE, I guess. It's still going to do some good damage. 21 is not terrible. With Young Xehanort doing damage, Riku and Mickey doing damage in PvP, these guys are about to do the same amount of damage, just a little bit less. But if you're looking at like, oh, I'm going to lower their attack by 7 tiers, their attribute attack by 7 tiers while buffing myself, it's great. But we can't forget that later on, everyone's going to get a copy of these. And a lot of people have a copy of these. So if you're high tier PvP, I wouldn't recommend trying to make a turtle setup out of these or just turtle setups in general, because this overwrites the target strength, -7 PSM strength. So that means no matter what, if the opponent has ×7 strength, they're going to get -7 strength. But when it comes back to their turn, when they're attacking and they have Kairi or the new Shion, they're just going to overwrite that -7 and put back their attack at 7. Same thing with the attribute defense attack down. They're just going to put their attribute attack back up. So right now, it looks good for PvP. It might be okay as certain rankings, but high tier rankings and down the line as more medals come out with overwrite, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be unique just to Kairi or just to the Incredible medals. I'm pretty sure other buffing / attacking medals are going to come up with the overwrite ability. It's a new ability. More and more medals are going to get it. Just like Countdown Plus, it was very few medals. Now look how many medals we're getting with Countdown Plus. So just take that in mind when you're looking at stuff like this, being like, oh, I can turtle set up so much. In PvP, don't really think about that because of new Kairis and Shions, and also other people can do exactly what you're doing with newer medals. But in PvE-wise, this is great. -7, -2 for 1 turn is amazing. That's going to help you survive so many things as you go along into the game. Turtle setups still exist. They might not help you with the Organization 13 events, but they will help you with other events. So turtling is great here. 20% increase is not anything. Like I said, enemy countdown +1. And with all these medals, except for Mr. Incredible, I believe you have to have a maximum party of 30. I think it's maximum party of 30. Yeah. So all of them increase more damage with more party members. So make sure you have a maxed out party just so you don't lose out the damage. Because if you drop your party or someone leaves, you will lose damage on these medals. So that's something to keep in mind. But for turtling, for the opponent's attacks, she's incredible. For Violet deals with the defense. And again, if you raise your defense by 3 or raise your attribute defense by 3, someone with these medals here are basically going to overwrite that, and it doesn't even matter. So if you think you're going to try to turtle and someone pulls out this, your turtle setup's completely gone. So it's not a big deal, but in PvE wise, these are great. Again, let's really look at Mrs. Incredible. So we're looking at lowering enemies attack down. So let's take away tier 4s and let's go by lowering enemies general attack. So also put tier 70 here so we don't have to see multiple copies. These are all the medals in the game that lowers the enemy's attacks. Zexion over here, he does 1 attack for 2 turns. Vexen over here does 2 attacks for the 2 turns, I believe. For 2 turns. Where Mrs. Incredible, she lowers the enemy's general attack by 7 for that 1 turn, which is all you need. It's maximum. So for 1 medal, you don't have to copy it. You don't have to do nothing. It lowers the enemy's general attack. Attribute strength down. These guys don't have that. And then Vexen over here doesn't have it either. So the better turtle setup is over here. Chicken Little has 2 attack down. Again, Mrs. Incredible, one of the best ones. Nothing else compares to Mrs. Incredible. Now, when we go to back to Violet, Violet does defense up by 4. So let's take away that and let's go raise our defense up. These are all the medals in the game. These ones down here aren't going to help you that much. The first amazing medal we got was Hainer, Pence, and Olette, which was 1 defense up and 1 attribute defense up for 2 turns. So if you got extra attack on this medal, by the 2nd turn you had 4 of everything. But when you go look at the other medals that came out after that, it got a little bit better, It added other things like buffing, but just for general defense, boom, only 1 there. Again, Vexen over here, only 1 general and 3 for just speed and magic. Then you've got yourself the new Zexion, who lowers the enemy's general attack by 3. Forgot to mention that. I guess it wasn't part of the other one, but it raises your attribute defense by 2 and your general defense by 2 for 2 turns. So when you look at this, nothing compares to Violet. Violet is 4 turns, which is just like HP over here, but you get 4, which is maximum on the 2nd turn, or extra attack on the 1st turn. You have maximum defense and 6 defense, or on the 2nd turn. By the 3rd turn, you got maximum everything, including upright attack up. So Violet, incredible medal. They're great. They're really good for what they do out of PvP, I believe, because in PvP, again, the Kairis, the Shions, any other medal that has overwrite as well will just take over and ruin that. You might think you might be turtling PvP wise. It depends where you are and who you face and what they have, but it can go either way. So that is Violet and that is Mrs. Incredible. These are the best turtling medals in the game. Nothing else really compares to them. There might be a little bit thing here and there that these other medals have, but if you just want straight defense up and straight attack down on the enemy, Violet and Mrs. Incredible combined will just ruin everything for you. There's pretty much nothing that can attack you through, especially with defense boost 4 max and 5 being in the game. You're going to turtle a lot of the content that doesn't say complete in 1 turn. So really good to see. Now let's go back to the tier 4s and let's look at the last one, which is Dash. Now Dash, at first glance, I was like, oh damn, that's Scrooge and more. But then we looked up here and it says 3 attacks. So how this works is it only lasts 3 attacks. So let's put a Dash in that slot right there, which I just lost him. So Dash will go over here. The only place where Dash actually works for buffing medals. So if you guys look at it, for 3 attacks, when he uses his activation, he'll buff himself. That's 1 attack, 2 attack, 3 attack. So he won't affect the friend medal. In Coliseum, he'll stop there, but you really want a full buffer for everything over here. So he only affects 1, 2, and 3. He counts as himself as 1. So only 2 medals after him are going to get buffed. If you have him over here, he's going to get buffed. Spirit slot's going to get buffed. And your friend slot is going to get buffed. So Dash has a great utility on him, like amazing utility. He's got ×7 everything, attack up, defense down, except for upright defense down. He's missing 3, and of course he's not reverse, he's upright. So he's got everything going from, again, we know the multiplier, he has the enemy countdown, all that crazy stuff all together in 1 medal, but only 3 attacks. So where does this medal fit for PvE wise? PvE wise, think of it this way: if you don't have yourself the new Kairi or Shion, you don't have the override ability, right? So what you do is you put Dash in the beginning of your Keyblade setup, So you'll put dash over here, and then you'll grab yourself the new Kyrie. Let's just pretend that's the new Kyrie or Kyrie EX. So you'll take away all the buffs the enemy did to themselves. So if you face an enemy that goes, hey, look at me, I'm going to put all my defense up and all that other shazazz, I'm going to lower your attack. Dash will be like, no. Everything's clean. We're good. We're back to normal. And then you start with your buff medals, especially if you don't have the override ability. So you can use them for that to nullify everything that's going on with the enemy that he's doing on you and doing on himself. You can just reset everything, which is a great thing. PvP wise, we're looking at dash to be more of, again, override ability, or in PvP you can put him somewhere over here, like right here, because we have no friend slot. So 1, 2, and 3 will get full attacks. Again, dash is not going to do bad damage. 21 multiplier is not incredible, but it is still enough to do some damage as a 7-star, because it's not going to be too hard to get these guys at 7 stars at tier 4. Now the silver tickets should be everywhere. So having this medal right here, buffing everything, should be really good. Or even buffing stuff by ×3 until your other medals kick in that have all the other buffs that they need. So by the end of it, maybe over here you have like a Warrior of Light or a Sykes that does their own general strength, and all your other prime medals over here where he took care of the upright defense and all that, because he'll take care of these two. So while everything's being set up back to normal, when someone puts you asleep or paralyzes you in PvP, this could work over here as an attack medal and as a buffing medal, just so these two can finish setting up again. So no more triple threat affecting you, and no more having to put a buff medal here and losing damage, because he can also be a damage dealer. If you have Kyrie EX or Xion EX over here and it gets skipped, it'll still work out. You'll just miss out on 1 buff or 1 attacking medal, which is not bad. So PvP wise, he has his place. PvE wise, he has his place. Another good thing you guys can think about this as well is this medal is 3 attacks. He deals 8 hits. I don't know how fast those hits are going to go, but think about time trials, things you got to go really quickly. This medal will buff himself while doing AoE damage and heavy AoE damage at that as well. So you can put him in the beginning of a setup that has a speed slot there and just go ham. You can do time trials really quickly. That can help you in time trials for that really quick buff right there. Another big medal here, another big medal here. So you'll have 3 full attacking medals in the beginning of the Keyblade setup for those speed trials. So I think he'll be amazing for that. And I think that's pretty much it for these incredible medals. I don't think they're terrible. If you already have powerful medals, you can kind of skip out on this, but if you have powerful medals, you probably want more power, so you're probably going to do the high score challenge and you're probably going to pull, but this is where these guys have their places. These two right here, I would say, have the most utility. These are going to be really good for you. I want to say incredible every time because they're incredible, but it's just cringy at this part. So Mrs. Incredible and Prime Violet here are really good turtle setup. I think a free-to-play player getting these two will really do big in the game, especially for just turtling hard quests that you couldn't have a damage setup on. And then of course Dash here can really help out a new player as well, just clearing old content and the story mode / proud mode as well. If he fits on the proud mode Keyblade, he's gonna make the big difference. Just him and one of their attacking medals for those proud mode that say only use 2 medals, this will change that as well. You'll go through proud mode without a problem with Dash. So all these guys have their situations. Are they the next level? I wouldn't say they are next level. They're not game breaking or anything like that. They definitely can help you. The AoE damage on these guys is actually really good. AoE damage wise, again, they're just like KR17 and all that. So pulling from this banner is not bad. Would I spend my jewels on it versus what I was just talking about, the new Roxas? I kind of wouldn't. I kind of wouldn't go for the pull unless you really want to try out for the high score challenge for Bob and Jack. Roxas over here has guaranteed tier 5s every pull, which again, there is some really good tier 5s in the game. And also he just does amazing damage, single target and AoE wise, along with 80% guilds and everything else. He's just missing strength. Utility wise for turtling, yeah, they can turn out good. If you're looking for damage, stick to Roxas still or anything else that's coming out in the future. These guys aren't really here for single target damage, AoE damage. They can really fix your game for AoE damage, but so can this Roxas. So in the end, guys, it all depends what you want to do. This is kind of what I just got from them by looking at them. That is the incredible medals. Let me know what you think down below. If I screwed up anything, which most likely I probably did, there's probably something I did wrong, but let me know down below, guys. I really do want to go for these medals just because of the high score challenge. Will I go for my free-to-play accounts? I'm not sure at this point. I don't feel like I want the turtle setup anymore. I feel like I'd rather go hunting for strength instead of turtling. If I don't complete a quest because of turtling, I miss it on one quest or 2 quests, but I'm not going to go spending my jewels, my very precious jewels, to go for a turtle setup, especially because I already have Zexion and all that. That's another thing. If you already have turtle medals, then don't really worry about it too much. It's not going to change a lot of the game, but they are great AoE medals. Either way, let me know down below what you guys think. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.